Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody is having a great Thirsty Thursday. It's all downhill from here because tomorrow's already finally freaking Friday. The weekend's here. Sadly, we have no football this weekend, but it is the right time for the Dallas Cowboys to have their bye week, right smack dab middle of the season. Definitely got banged up against the Bears this week, and we could use some well-needed rest. Zeke Elliott, of course, gets this week, of course, to try and get himself together and see if he can get back out on the field. Although some people out there think that Tony Pollard just needs to be the back out there on every single play, and I still want to caution people and say you do not want Tony Pollard getting 20, 25 touches a game. The way that you're using him right now, where you're getting the home runs and things, I think is just perfect. But with that, we're seeing a little bit of an evolution with the Cowboys offense. Last night I did a live stream with Brother Roz. Originally we were going to do like a 30-minute show and record it and put it up, but because it takes so long with the Wi-Fi here at the hotel to upload material, literally last week's took that night and then into the next day before we got in. So we did it live, and we actually went for about an hour. But it was my premise that the Cowboys are better suited as a team offensively using that package, 12 personnel, and they did use 13 personnel, which was on the big run that Tony Pollard had. For me, I've always been a fan of 12 personnel, and it's not your daddy's 12 personnel, which was we're going to put, five offensive linemen, two tight ends, and we're just going to pound it up the middle and stuff. There's so many variations of things that you can do where you can split out the wide receivers, and me and Roz had a difference of opinion. He's like, he's got them split out wide. They might as well be a wide receiver. Exactly. That's the thing about 12 personnel is you can use it like a passing formation. You can use it for running formation. You can use it and look at what the defense is doing and saying, since they're trying to stop the run, let's play action and pass it. And I believe that's one of the reasons why the Cowboys were so effective. Now, he pointed out that there was, a Jake Ferguson whiff that was in there and blocking and stuff, but they pay those guys on the other side of the field just as much, too. And what was really interesting in our conversation last night, because my premise is when you look at the great teams, Super Bowl teams, pretty much you always see a great tight end. And you can go back. I mean, from I remember when New England had Hernandez and Gronk both. They were like their two leading receivers on the team, but both of those guys could also knock your block off blocking. And it made the offense more dynamic. And I think this is basically the beginning of the evolution of the Cowboys offense. And I've been talking about Jake Ferguson so much and thinking that typically tight ends don't really start getting in a groove until the second and third year. To see what we're seeing from Jake Ferguson as well as Peyton Hendershot was amazing for Roz, who is the statistician. He's got numbers and the fantasy football and everything else. He actually didn't really know that much about Peyton Henderson or it didn't snap in his head. He had all the numbers and stuff in there. And as he was going through and looking at his numbers, he's like, why wasn't he on my radar? Why wasn't he on anybody's radar? He said potentially Peyton Hendershot has the ability to be better down the road than Jake Ferguson. Now, I like to call them the Blues Brothers. Okay, they are nicknamed right now Frickin' Frack. I mean, that Frickin' Frack's not bad, but for some reason, when I think of Frickin' Frack, I kind of think of Beavis and Butthead. I Frickin' Frack, nah. The Blues Brothers, Jake and Elwood. And if those two guys can become really good tight ends for us, we are in great shape. And you think about just a couple of years ago when we brought back Jason Witten, that the cupboard was bare. We didn't have any tight ends. And you see that the offense struggled. And see, tight ends to me are really, really key on an offense. I look and I say, one of the biggest problems for Tom Brady this year, besides breaking up with Giselle, is that the Gronk's not there anymore. And that has hurt his offense tremendously. He was that security blanket, that guy he could go to, that reliable blocker as well. And their offense just seemed not the same without it. Now, we don't have the George Kittle per se, although Ross says, production-wise, you're actually about there. But I think when you add up collectively the tight end by committee, what we have around with all four of them, because I'll put McKenna in there, who is a great blocking tight end, that this is helping the offensive line. This is helping Dak because the offense is not one-dimensional where teams understand we can pin our ears back and go after the quarterback. He's getting better pass protection. The defense have to cover the whole field. And, of course, it's making it better when you have extra blockers for the running game. And collectively, it's a win. I feel validated that 12 personnel, now it's almost comical. I've been talking 12 personnel all last year, and looked when we got to the playoffs in the second half of the season, we just kind of abandoned it altogether. But seeing the success that they have with Cooper Rush, right now with Dak, the offense and the way the running game and the balance, you couldn't ask for anything more. And it's just like, thank you, Lord. It's like they finally listened about 12 personnel. So hopefully going forward, what we're seeing is an evolution of Kellen Moore. Instead of being Boise State, let's just loft the ball 40, 50 times a game. Let's be balanced. Let's use the whole field. Let's use this 12 personnel and get after teams and just keep killing them. Boom. Death by 1,000 cuts. So that's what we have for today. Tonight, the Eagles have the Texans. So that's a patsy. What?
Don't forget about Dak Prescott.
Yeah. But for us Cowboy fans, something for us to watch, because if you're a Dak Prescott fan, Dak will be part of a Dude Perfect alternate second half broadcast. Yeah, the NFL realizes that this is a shit sandwich that they're giving you. It just is. The Texans versus the Eagles.
It'll be over before the second half.
So Dak Prescott will be doing a broadcast of the Eagles game, the second half. So definitely, we'll be watching. And hope you join us. We'll be doing our live stream tonight. We're going to do some work here this morning over at the Red Brick House, and then we're going to head up the road maybe a little earlier than usual so I can take a nap before the game, because if I don't, I'll probably fall asleep in the first half and then forget to go to the second half.
It's okay if you fall asleep in the first half.
Not while I'm on live.
No, it's okay if you do and then you start live streaming with Dak Prescott comes on.
But there's no guarantee I'll wake up, because that stuff is really, that's a Rip Van Winkle sleep. He slept for 25 years? You watch them Thursday night games, it's like.
That's why Amazon wants to have the dual stream so you can get more views on Amazon.
Dak Prescott tries to save Amazon Prime. That's it. All right, good people, I got work to do. And if you want to follow along, I've got some videos and stuff from the Red Brick House and things of what we're doing. We got to get some more cement this morning and finish cementing the holes for the post. And, that's what I got. All right, good people. Peace.